got any of those messages across from it, the first part is really that we need to step back and do, we would call it gap analysis, but a bit of an analysis against where we are in relation to the safer and better healthcare standards versus currently in our organisation where we are. We talked a bit about how to go about doing that and what to actually take on board of it. And I suppose a few things that we need to bear in mind is, first of all, just to remember the tool that we gave out today in relation to JCI, even if you're not currently undergoing JCI, it is a useful way of trying to get more specific information as to what each of these standards need. JCI itself has a lot of not variance, but it has a lot of scope in it, but it is a bit more prescriptive. So if you're struggling with interpreting it, have a look and see what the tool actually says and how they marry across in relation to the different areas. The second thing to bear in mind, and we've been talking about this all day, is in relation to national guidance, standards, regulation, whatever documents happen to be out there at the moment. That's another starting point. Remember all those slides at the beginning of the presentation about HIQA guidance, but also HSE documentation that's out there? You know, what's the general stuff that's out there that we're going to be looking at? So that's fine. So if we're going to be taking it, how do you see this actually happening? Because there's a few ways, and it'll vary in organisations. I mean, some places set up a group to have a look at this. Some places do it as an individual. There is a good bit of work in it, you know, in terms of what's coming. It is a project and a piece of work to do it. That piece is important about the senior management buy-in, you know, because it does need, not saying that everyone's CEO is going to go, oh, that's great, give me that, I'll do that, that's great. But, you know, they need to be involved, they need to know what's going on. And Marianne, as you're saying, the idea of giving a presentation or something back to say, this is what's going on. Exactly, so this is where it is. And as you rightly say, it is then a need for, there is a time between two. Interestingly, and it was just the table that I was with when we were talking about it, was the benefit of having few people talking about what the standards meant, because then different people were giving different perspectives and views on it, and that's definitely one of the core things. Because they're not overly prescriptive, there is a bit of needing that expert input in terms of what does that mean to you, what does that mean to you, and what does that mean to you. What you're trying to do is to, you know, ultimately, if we think about what these standards are, they are assuring ourselves and everybody else that the service we're providing is the highest quality of care that it possibly can be. Okay, so that's really, that's kind of the approach. It's not making HIQA happy or keeping anybody else happy. The idea is that these are all good things that we should just be doing anyway. Okay, now I know that that's a nice thing to say and we all have loads of other jobs, but at its essence, if we had nothing else for doing for the next 6 weeks, all of us could go back and make sure that all these things are in place. So if that's the approach we can take to it, to say, you know what, we're going to spend the time looking at these things and try and figure out, are we satisfied that we are definitely meeting this as well as we possibly can? And if we are, that's great. Let's confirm what we are doing and what we have in place. But if there are any gaps in terms of where it is, if there are any areas that we're not missing, maybe we're really, really good at gathering information from our incident reports, but we're not so good at actually analysing that and communicating it on some class. Maybe we're really good at looking at the infection control reports that HIQA give back to us, or any feedback that comes back from the HSE, but we're not actually really good at looking outside of our organisation and saying, well, you know what, there was a big investigation in that hospital last year, we never actually looked to see what they found and implemented here. Whatever those gaps are, that they become, we call it a QIP list, Quality Improvement Plan list, or an action list, or whatever you want to call it, but that they become your drivers for the things that you want to have in place. Now you might remember one of the things that we showed a while ago when we were looking at things that HIQA reports have found. One of them was that the organisation hadn't done a self-assessment against the national standards and developed a quality improvement plan identifying the actions that they wanted to put in place. Okay? We also said that one of the worst things that can happen with HIQA, one of the things that they really hate above all else, is if they find a problem and you didn't know about it. So even if you only get as far as here, you have already got to the stage whereby you figured out where the core difficulties are, and you kind of hit those two areas. Number one, you've reviewed it and you figured out what the QRPs are, and number two, you're finding out, are there any other gaps that are there? So if, God forbid, a bad thing happens and they come in from before the licensure, at least you're able to say, do you know what, we are trying here. You know, we are making an effort, we've done as much as we can, we identified one area of high risk when we went through this, didn't realise that there was a new set of standards out in infection control, and they're totally different to before, and we've now found them and they're being implemented, and we're doing that, and that's our high risk area, and we're working our way through the areas. At least it puts you in that positive framework before you even get started. So that would be a good even initial aspiration to get to. From then, obviously your core then is where to from here. And again, that's where your team comes into play. It's about breaking down your actions, it's about assigning responsibility, it's project. You rightly said, a project team, actions, responsibilities, and ongoing ways of trying to implement this. And that's where a lot of your education comes into play when you're doing implementation of any of these actual jobs. And you're kind of doing education at the same time because you're actually telling people and letting them know how things are working. In some cases, the implementation part, the QIP actions part, mightn't be very big. For some of you, it might just be shifting a focus a little bit or improving on where we are. On other of the organisations where this isn't something you've had the chance to look at yet, or where they're large organisations, it could be a much longer list. But that's fine as long as you have time frames, you have responsibilities, and you're regularly looking at it to say, what did we say we were going to do? They will not, they don't. I know they say they expect them to be implemented, but I can tell you, if they do come in and look for it, if you know exactly where you are and you have a plan for where you're going to, that puts you in a very strong position.